Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Gabo the Shaman, and today we are talking about the Atmakaraka, that is the planet with the highest degree in your Vedic birth chart, being in the first house. So Atmakaraka in the first house. Now you might be wondering, well, so it's just a matter of like figuring out what planet is in the highest degree longitude, and that's your Atmakaraka. So a lot of astrology softwares will tell you this, otherwise you can learn how to do it on your own, but essentially it's just the highest degree. So let's say if you have Sun at 28 degrees of Leo, and you have Cancer at 29 degrees Moon in 29 degrees of Cancer, who would be the Atmakaraka there? Well, it would be Moon with 29 degrees of Cancer. So yeah, that's pretty much how you find that out. So there's different planets with that can be your Atmakaraka, and each planet has its own significance, its own energies that go into the Atmakaraka, what the Atmakaraka is, and how that plays out in your life. So, the first thing we'll talk about is Atmakaraka in the first house. So if you have your Atmakaraka in the first house, or in the ascendant, or in the lagna, those all pretty much mean the same thing. First house, lagna, So if you have your Atmakaraka here, that means you have a strong sense of self. It means that whatever is going on in your life, it's going to be, you have a strong focus on yourself. And so there's even, some astrologers will say, oh, well, if you have this placement or that placement there, then you could be even born in royalty. But even if you're not born in royalty, like most of us are not, so the Trikona houses 1, 5, and 9, first house being of first of them, those are extremely lucky houses. And so with your Atmakaraka being in the first house, that kind of shows that you will have kind of a silver spoon in your mouth from the time that you were young. Of course, these things can change with different planetary placements, of course, but generally speaking, people with the Atmakaraka in the first house have a very strong sense of self. They will be taken very good care of, and so yeah, it's just a matter of having that sense of self, and confidence and things like that. Their purpose in life will be to discover what makes them happy. This might include, physical fitness. Aries, or the first house, is the house of the physical body. So it might include things like making sure that you aesthetically appear good or look good. It might include, like, if you're a female, doing, worrying about your physical appearance and things like that. Going to the gym, making sure you're in shape and things like that. So yeah, and first house is also about, it's like taking lead, taking charge, and essentially you can be very, very focused on yourself, especially if this is in the later half, the last, or sorry, if it's in the, I'm sorry, hold on, give me a sec. If it's in the second half of the first house, yes. If it's in, so if your Atmakaraka is placed like if it has more than 15 degrees, it'll be placed on the last half of the first house. So in that case, your focus will be more on yourself. So if it's focused on, let me see here. Yeah, the last half of the sign, it'll be focused on yourself, and if it's in the first 15 degrees of the first house, it'll be focused on kind of others. It'll have that, if it's in the first half of the first house through the 7th house, like the 12th house, 10th, 12th, 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th, if it's on that side of the chart, then it'll be focused on yourself. And if it's on the other side, it'll be focused on, yeah, it's, I will explain that in a future video. Just the different things within the chart that you can see. So, essentially, with the Atmakaraka in the first house, it is about, about the self, and it's really kind of designed to be selfish, to be consumed with yourself, to do the things that make you happy. So, if your sun is in the first house as your Atmakaraka, then we can see someone who is very regal, someone who has the ability to attain a lot of power, social status, political standing. You could be the leader of a country, a president, a ruler. It really gives that air of royalty, because Atmakaraka is basically the soul significator. This means it's like the significator of royalty, the significator of the king. And if that's in the first house, and especially with the sun there, that it's a major deal. It's a huge thing. So, and if you're not if you're not like royalty or anything like that, like most of us, then I would say you might work in government. You might do some kind of public service work, or being a cop, or a, something like that. A lawyer, or things like that. So, anyway, so then we have the moon here. So if the moon is your Atmakaraka, and it is in the first house, this will make you extremely emotional, and your purpose will be to be basically kind of healing with others. Like, you'll have your own healing journey as far as your emotions go, and maybe traumas and past hurts and things like that, but you'll also be that for others. You'll also be very loving, caring, nurturing to others. You know, there's other planets that could, you know, stop this or prevent this, but generally someone with their Atmakaraka in the first house will be very, they will feel like it's their responsibility to kind of take on the needs of others, to nurture themselves and others. The moon is the mother, you know. So moon in the first house, this person will feel and have a very motherly nature. So, and that, you know, as far as like their bodily disposition, they could, you know, have a lot of water retention. They could take on a lot of water. And then for, you know, let's see here. So for Mars, we have essentially Mars. If Mars is the Atmakaraka in the first house, we have something very unique and special here. This is the first house is typically associated with Aries, which is a Mars-ruled sign. So if Mars is here in the first house as the Atmakaraka, you will have a strong disposition towards physical activities, you know, working out, sports, competitiveness, competition, things like that. So, yeah. And then as far as the first house, like, it might give you a lot of like physical strength and like masculine characteristics, good looks, and like muscles, and like a strong, healthy body. Mars is in the first house is always a good thing. You know, it tends to give you good health, and it is like your bodily energy. So this is, you know, it's good. And that is kind of, if you have Mars here in the first house, you might be like an athlete, or, you know, something like that, where you're called to, you know, your desire is to compete with others and see if you can beat others and be the best and things like that. And so yeah, it's all about that competition, that drive, that motivation. And so the thing about the first house, having your Atmakaraka in the first house, whether it's any Atmakaraka, is you kind of have that sense of knowing what you're supposed to do in life. There's not a whole lot of questioning. If it was like in the 8th house or 12th house, I would say you'd have more of a difficulty questioning the things that you want to do in life and what really gives you joy and things like that. But you know, with the Atmakaraka in the first house, it kind of makes things easy in that regard, where you know what you want to do, you know what makes you happy, and so you go out and do it, which is a great thing. Alright, well, Mercury in the first house as the Atmakaraka. If Mercury is your Atmakaraka in the first house, this gives a strong ability to be very, very smart, very intellectual. You know, you will have a sharp mind. You could very easily do math. You could very easily do, you know, become a communications person. You love communication. You love interactions with others. You could be a comedian even. You might do things with your body, like, you know, kind of speak with your hands, speak with your body, and just kind of, in fact, Jim Carrey is like someone who had that ability to kind of, when they were doing, jokes or impressions or things like that, Jim Carrey basically contorted his face to look very, very funny, and just kind of, he could do various impressions and things like that. Jim Carrey was someone who really had this ability. So I think if you have Mercury in your first house as your Atmakaraka, that ability to become a comedian, to have those impressions and like really, you might be like a fast typer, or like the nervous system could be overactive in some cases. But I think, whatever that case may be, it's, just, it's fine. It's something to work through, but it might even benefit you. You could be, you could have fast reactions to things. You could be impulsive. You could be very, just kind of, witty, communicative, friendly, funny, things like that. And this is your soul desire. This is what you want to do. So listen to that Mercury. So, and then we have Jupiter here. So if Jupiter is in your first house as your Atmakaraka, you can be a teacher. And whatever planet, as long as you have an Atmakaraka in the first house, you will want to be the best at what you do. Like, you'll want to be the first, you'll want to be the best. You'll have this high achievement, like, desire for high achievement, to achieve, to attain, and stuff like that. So, if Jupiter's here, you have the ability to learn some deep lessons. You have the ability to go deep and to really learn about spirituality. You could become a guru. You could become a sage. You could become a spiritual teacher, spiritual master. Also, Jupiter is energy. Thor, Jupiter. So you, if you have, I'm telling you right now, if you have Jupiter as your Atmakaraka in your first house, count yourself very lucky. You should be doing Qigong. You should be doing energy work on a daily basis, because this strengthens and helps your physical body to flow with that energy, and it heals you, and it, does a bunch of positive things for you. Also, Jupiter is the teacher, the professor, the guru, the teacher. So essentially, you can have this innate wisdom from your youth, from when you were born. You just carry this innate wisdom about you, and we're all human, but you tend to, like, take things with, like, a gentle approach and a wise approach, and don't tend to really be that, impulsive or foolish. Just kind of just take things at your own pace. And also, Jupiter has the ability to expand you, to really expand, not only financially but spiritually. There's a great power. There's a great power in Jupiter. So I would highly so I would recommend working with that if you have that. And then we have Venus. So if you have Venus in the first house as your Atmakaraka, man, you are going to be just very, very much dealing with material things, earthly things. You could be a financial advisor, a financial planner, things like that. And, you could, if you're a female with this placement, you could be an esthetician. You could be very concerned with, like, your beauty, your looks, things like that, the aesthetics of you. Venus in the first house tends to give somebody a very beautiful appearance, a very symmetrical, beautiful, youthful appearance. And so, essentially, Venus in the first house would be primarily concerned with being, the best model. Being the hottest, sexiest, most best-looking model that there is. Again, that theme of wanting to be the best, and Venus here. You could definitely be a model. So, and then other Venus themes, of course, are art, beauty, music, science, theater, play, so you could have those themes play out as well. You might not be the best looking model, but you might be like a musician or a actress or an actor or a singer, songwriter, things like that. So there's this thing for like fame and recognition being present there. Alright, and then we have Saturn. So Saturn here, if Saturn is in your first house in your Atmakaraka, or as your Atmakaraka, Saturn wants to teach you hard life lessons, and this might affect your health. This might affect your physical appearance. You might be, you might have a disability if Saturn is in the first house. You might walk slow. You might walk with a limp. But with it being the Atmakaraka, it's trying to teach you a lesson here. And it's trying to, show you that, like, the reality of life. And the challenges and the lessons that we go through, that we choose to learn in this life, will benefit us later down the road. So you might have a really crappy, like, early life. You might be physically abused or things like that. You might be taken or like into, you might be forced to do things that you don't want to do, like clean the house, or with your parents basically teaching treating you like a slave or something like that, which isn't healthy either. But you really learn the hard lessons and the discipline and the reality of life, and that can be hurtful and traumatizing, especially for a child. However, with the Atmakaraka being Saturn in the first house, you have the ability to rise to the top. Saturn is the boss. Saturn is delayed gratification, discipline, responsibility, organization, structure. So you have that harsh lesson, that slap from Saturn in your early life, but something that I've kind of grown to understand is in later life, Saturn actually blesses you. Saturn actually gives you the things that make you happy and things like that. So even if you don't have, any physical issues or any, abuse or trauma in your childhood, even if you don't have any of those things, there's going to be a strong desire to have a position of authority, to be a boss, to be the goat, to be the best of all time, things like that. And so there's this desire for fame and success and recognition of accomplishment, achievement, things like that. So whatever it is, I forget which athlete had Saturn in the first house, but essentially they became like one of the best basketball players, So, so essentially it was like, it can be hard lessons, but it's hard work, but it's like so worth it because you get what you want, at the end. So, yeah. Anyway, guys, so for Rahu quickly, I will say that you might have an addictive personality. Rahu as the Atmakaraka in the first house gives one an addictive personality. Gives one like a kind of behaving in a headless way, like an impulsive way, like just wanting to feed their desires and wanting to it's a very selfish kind of placement. But, not all selfishness is bad. You can turn that into something very positive and healing and constructive for yourself. So, yeah, Rahu as the Atmakaraka, you'll feel, it gives a propensity to feel just incomplete, just crappy about yourself, just not happy about life. You're always wanting to strive for more. There's always this itch to do more, to accomplish more, to get more out of life, and it's this perpetual unsatisfaction. And it keeps you repeating the cycle. Keeps you coming back and reincarnating. So, yeah, just, learn to live with life as it is. As someone who has challenges of my own, it's like I've just learned to, I can't have everything in life, but I do believe that I can have the things that I really want and I'm drawn to. So it's just about accepting things as they are and doing your best to achieve what you want to achieve. You can be extremely hard on yourself, extremely critical. Yeah, Rahu is a very difficult planet as your Atmakaraka. But he is the trickster. He will kind of show you how to manipulate and move things around so that way you can get what you want out of a situation. So even though there's this continual, perpetual wanting to have more and be more and do more, he actually, can show you how to do things, how to manipulate, how to achieve things, how to manipulate and all that good stuff. So, so manipulation can be okay as long as it's not at the detriment of someone else, So anyway, guys, that is all for me. And if you would like to, you can pick up my book, Tantric Secrets of Vedic Astrology, by yours truly. And that is an astrology book that I'm going through. And so, anyway, guys, I hope this video was helpful to you. And we will talk to you next time. And before I go, I just want to let you guys know that I do have a bunch of, things to offer you. Products, courses, services, things like that really helps the channel stay alive and me stay alive, and just kind of trying to achieve what I want in life with that. So I do have my Qigong courses. They are available on my website, gebotheshaman.com, and I have a course that basically combines Kundalini yoga and Qigong, and that basically, it really helps me to align my energy and to become a little bit more conscious about my unconscious stuff and just kind of work through things. So I have Qigong courses, I have astrology courses, my astrology certification course. Basically, that is a astrology certification course where you can basically take my exam and you'll get your own website, a website of your very own. And that's a great way to, that's where you would basically collect payment from your clients and all that good stuff. So, and then we have the astrology readings. So if you haven't already gotten an astrology reading from me, I would highly recommend that, because not a lot of astrologers can give you a mantra. Not a lot of them know mantras and can prescribe them like I can. So if things are going crappy in your life and you need some kind of a solution or a way out of your problem, I can prescribe you a spiritual practice that will help you to overcome any challenges you have in life. So the more you do that mantra, the more you do your own personalized ritual for that, then the easier things will become in life. So there's that. And I also have my birth time rectifications. So if you don't know what your exact birth time is, I have a service where I find that out for you. Basically by looking and analyzing your chart and figuring out, basically we're turning the dials to see what makes more sense in your chart. So that's one of the things that I do, and so check that out if you're interested. I also have rune readings. I do rune readings, and that's basically about your past, present, and future, things like that. And also career coaching, life coaching, trauma healing, the trauma healing course, and distance energy healing sessions. So if you're interested in any of those things, I would highly encourage you. I would really be appreciative and grateful if you would support the channel and go purchase something from me. I'm trying to, I don't ask for money. I don't accept donations, but I do accept, people purchasing services from me, so I would really appreciate that. Anyway, so if you want to know about my things that I offer, you can go to my website, gebotheshaman.com, and yeah, with that, we will see you later, guys. Take care. Have a good day. Peace.